So, hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Renny Show. You may have noticed we've had a little bit of a break over the summer, so we hope that you've all had a lovely break too and come back refreshed. Hello, Jenny. Lovely to see you.
Good morning, Rachel. It's a bit of a cloudy morning here I'm in Cheshire
Yes.
at the moment. It's a bit of a cloudy morning, but I can see little bits of blue sky peeping through the cloud. So I'm
Mhm.
very hopeful for the afternoon.
Excellent. Fingers crossed. It's a bit mixed here as well. There is sunshine, but there's also quite a lot of grey clouds, so we'll see what happens. But as always, folks, if you're listening, full disclosure, we are actually recording this episode to broadcast live at our usual time. But you still get us, warts and all, as we are, unedited, the very real us. And we will just see where the conversation goes. So, Jenny, first question for you then, if that's all right. I know that you love to be in the kitchen and you're particularly accomplished when it comes to things in the kitchen. What's your favourite thing to cook at this time of year? Because obviously we're on the cusp of we're going into autumn, aren't we? And so it's a bit of a change. So what's your favourite thing to cook at this time of year?
Can I have two? Can I have two
Oh, go
things?
for it. Yes.
Two things.
Yes.
I'm a real. I love a one pot. A one pot thing. A one pot thing, whether that's a casserole or a some other kind of thing creation.
Yeah.
I love something that only takes up one pot. Partly because of the washing up
Yeah.
or lack of washing up, and partly because of the fabulous range of flavors that you get when they all those kind of ingredients marinate together. And I quite like anything that I don't have that I can leave.
Yeah.
So leave for 4 hours, simmering slowly, shoving it in the oven, leaving it, and then miraculously it turns into a tasty masterpiece. I say, so I love those things. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's the principle of
Yeah.
the one pot, chucking it all in together. And of course, always a cake because I love. There's so much fruit. Those autumn fruits, so
Yeah.
blackberries and plums and pears, apples. There are so many cakes and kind of traditional desserts. That I can do at this time of year. So that's always fun to do.
Yeah.
What
Fantastic.
about you, Rach?
Well, I have to say, I'm struggling to let go of summer a bit. I'm sat here in shorts. I've got a jumper on, but I'm in shorts because I'm struggling. We've talked about this before about loving summer. I love summer and I love winter. I love both, but I always struggle to let go of summer when it starts disappearing. So we are still eating some summery things. I will be honest, but we have started, getting the crock pot out again and doing the whole one pot thing. And we're doing a bit of experimentation lately in terms of food. We'd got in a pattern of just always having the same things on repeat. So we've decided to change it up a bit. So there's a lot of fish going on at the moment, which as a vegetarian, I don't eat. So that's fine. I do something equivalent. But we're enjoying discovering new things at the moment. So I did a pesto fish last week, and what was the other one I did? Grated a load of parmesan, and there was put some herbs and spices and things in it, and brushed the fish with oil and coated it in this lovely kind of parmesan crumb type thing. And that was lovely and really different to things we normally have. So our favourite thing at the moment is a bit of experimentation, which is quite
Well,
nice.
I love a warm salad, which sounds
Yeah.
counterintuitive, doesn't it? But that's quite. I'm like you. I fight the transition from summer to autumn every year. I'm dragged kicking and screaming
Yeah.
um, through into autumn. I resist it for as long as possible. But I do love a salad, a warm salad. So that's great for
Yeah.
things like roasted butternut squash and
Mm.
lentils and feta cheese. And so actually, experimenting with the warm salad has been quite a revelation. So I've
Mhm.
really enjoyed doing that the last couple of weeks. One of my daughter-in-laws is just brilliant at coming up with really creative salads, because salad can get a bit kind of, by the
Yeah,
end
it
of the
can be
summer, you're
boring.
beginning to
Yeah.
get a bit like, oh, salad. Um,
Yeah.
but she's really opened my eyes to different things that you can add in a salad, and lentils and
Mm.
roasted vegetables and all sorts of things. So it's been, yes, it's so
Oh, I'm gonna.
three cheers for experimentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cooking
I'm going to have
department.
to start experimenting with warm salads. That
Yeah.
sounds great. Awesome.
So my question for you, my first question is, I'm going to a festival next week,
Okay.
Peak Fest,
Oh yes,
which
I've heard of it.
is
Yes.
which is a business festival. Um, I'm not I'm not very experienced in festival going.
Okay.
So my question is, what's your top tip for festival goers, new festival goers?
Oh crikey. Wellies probably.
Wellies, right? Yes.
Oh dear. Yes, I mean, having been to a few festivals, including Glastonbury, the big one, wellies are generally quite a sensible suggestion, because I mean we all know what the weather's like. I mean, what are some of we've had in terms of weather? It's been all over the shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, some kind of and I think you can dress wellies up. It's it's kind of funky to have wellies with a dress, or not just you don't have to dress it doesn't have to be like a vest and t-shirt or whatever. It can still be really exciting, nice clothes that make you feel good, but then you've got the wellies poking out the bottom. I must personally, I do tend to have wellies with something exciting going on. When I went to Glastonbury, actually, I had a pair of Union Jack wellies, which were nice and bright and out there. So yeah, wellies would definitely be a tip. Are you camping?
Oh no.
Oh well, I was going to say.
There are festivals, and they're one step too far. No,
Okay.
I am. Yeah, glamping is even glamping. I did camping for many years when my children were small,
Yeah.
because it's small boy heaven. So I feel I have exhausted my camping gene,
Yes, you've
and
paid your
therefore
dues there. Yeah.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
And therefore, so we are staying, there's a small group of us, and we are staying in a log cabin, with ensuite facilities and a
Oh,
hot
very
tub.
nice. Very nice.
um, but obviously that's just for sleeping in and things, and if it all gets too muddy and too much. But
Yeah.
most of the time we will be in the thick of the festival, and being in different tents and on stage. I'm speaking, so I'm just having a
Yeah.
vision in I'm just having a vision in my head of the stage outfit which I have chosen,
Yeah.
um, and thinking, do I have the do I have do I have the style to be able to carry wellies off with it?
Oh, I think you definitely do. And if you think they're not exciting enough for the outfit, you could just spray glitter all over them or something.
Pimp them up, yes,
Yeah,
pimp
pimp
my
them. Yeah.
wellies, yeah.
Mm.
So yes, I'm it's a first for me, so I'm looking forward to that
Oh, that
thing.
sounds
uh,
wonderful.
yeah, hopefully it will be wonderful, and we will just manifest sunshine,
Yes.
but wellies just in case. That's a really great top tip, thanks,
Yeah.
Rachel.
No worries. Always glad to be of service.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so my next question for you then is, what's the favourite thing that you did over the summer? Because obviously you loved the summer and the lovely
I
weather. So when there
do.
was some, what was your favourite thing?
Oh, we did a lot of things. I think there is I could theme them,
Okay.
because there is a theme, and I think the um the favorite thing of the summer was hanging out with my grandchildren um and family. So even when the weather wasn't great, so
Yeah,
it's the connecting with people outside. So my eldest son and his wife Ali and little Archie came over from the US to the UK, and we went up to the Wirral for a bit of sand and seaside.
lovely.
The weather was dreadful, but it mattered not.
Yeah,
Um, because it's that thing about, we will dig on the beach with a howling gale, and it's
absolutely.
so and our anorak and our wellies, and that's okay. And then when the weather was fabulous, spending time with the children in the garden, just the simplest of things, picnics, being outside in the garden, feeding the ducks, going to the park, those kind of things that I remember doing from my childhood, when of course summers were all fabulous in those days.
Yeah,
We had really long summers that were always hot. I don't remember any rain at all in my summer
no.
holidays ever back in the day. And so doing those really simple things that are bring incredible eating picnics outside
Yeah,
is just such fun, isn't it? And the fact that you want to eat your picnic, or is it just us, you want to eat your picnic the minute you get there,
yeah,
regardless. It might be 10 o'clock in the morning, but there's like, oh, can we start the picnic now?
yeah.
Let's have the picnic now. So I think that the key things that brought me most joy were was the outside, being
Yeah,
outside, and the freedom to explore with small eyes, because they see things from a 3 and a 4 and a 2 year old perspective that
yeah,
as adults sometimes we lose sight of. So watching a ladybird on a leaf, or watching a
yeah,
dragonfly, or a water boatman, or looking for fish, or all of those kind of things that, or blowing dandelions, all of those really simple things that sometimes we forget to make the time to do.
yeah,
So I think that was really precious moments, and the giggles. There's nothing quite like children's giggle, is there?
yeah.
So that's my summer, the bestest bits of my summer this year. How about
Fantastic.
you?
Oh, well, I mean, part of it was definitely on a very similar theme to that. When you talk about parks and picnics and beach and children's laughter, um, we had a fabulous week camping with my brother and his family, and it was exactly all of that. It was playing on the beach, in the sand and in the sea, no matter what the weather. Even when it rained a bit, we still be very British and stick with it, and so there were some wonderful moments of just good old fashioned traditional family fun of picnics, beach time, parks, all that sort of thing, which was just really lovely. And I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to catch up with lots of people over the summer, family and friends, which was just priceless, some of whom I hadn't seen for quite a while, so that was really, really precious time. And as we've spoken about, the variety show that the girls and I were in, that has to be an absolute highlight of this summer, because it was just so much fun. um, out of the comfort zone kind of stuff, but everyone, just the whole company. I mean, there was 112 of us in the company for this show,
It was a big
and
show, wasn't it?
yeah, and everyone just supported each other and pulled together. And some of the most precious moments were actually when we were doing things like technical rehearsals and dress rehearsals. So other people in the company could sit in the audience and watch, and the shouting, screaming and cheering at the end of every number from the rest of the cast was just, I mean, it was brilliant. It was just such a wonderful, uplifting family type experience. So yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. So summer's been really good. You know, I know there's lots of people I've spoken to who have had not quite the best time over the summer for various reasons. And so I do feel super grateful for having had such a fulfilling and heartwarming summer, which is, you know, consider myself very lucky. Okay, so my next question for you, Jenny, slightly more serious, but not particularly serious. Obviously, we're both in business. We're both coaches. We do slightly different things as well, but a lot of overlap. I'm interested to know, how do you keep your business fresh?
Oh, well, I think that's a great question. I am naturally a creative person, so I have lots of ideas. I look at kind of the world. I look at what's going on. I'm also a natural connector, so I follow people who I think are interesting, and who align with things that are important to me, my values.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking, and I think, like you, I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm always interested. So I think the key thing to keeping your business fresh is being interested and being curious. So thinking about, I've just read whatever it is. I've just read this. That's made me think. I'm going to investigate some more and see how I can integrate that into my business. I've you know, seen something. I've seen a post on LinkedIn or Facebook, or I've connected with somebody who's really made me not question, but just think about, explore on a deeper level, or a different level, about what else I can bring. And sometimes I think we're all guilty of forgetting some of the wisdom that we have accumulated over the years, and that we've kind of put in a cupboard and we forget. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were asking a question, and I said, well, I can help with that. Blah, blah, blah. And they said, I didn't know that about you. How do you know how to do that? And I was like, well, here's the story. This is why I know. And I think sometimes we forget. So it's almost like looking in your drawers, looking in your drawers and thinking, gosh, what is it that I have that maybe I've not used for a bit, maybe I've not taken out and, you know, shared with people, a gift that I've kept in the cupboard that can be recycled, repurposed. So I think there's the inside, there's, as ever, there's the inside things, and then there's the outside influences. And I love that whole refreshing thing, and keeping things moving. And I get that there's that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I think the world, we're in such a fast moving world, aren't we? And things change so quickly that we need to be on our mettle.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think sometimes we just don't know where those paths are going to lead. So when we are engaged in some of that lifelong learning, you know, adding things to the toolkit, or even when we, you know, remind ourselves what's in the toolkit that we'd forgotten about, it's always exciting, I think, to just see where those things end up. You know, I've not long finished a level 2 qualification in self-harm and suicide awareness and prevention, and you know, I did it in terms of continuing professional development, to add to my toolkit, sort of thing. But who knows where that might lead in terms of how useful it might prove to be, and different avenues it might open up. And I'm currently working on a collaboration, for example, which again, it's, you know, different directions that you just don't really know where things are going to end up, but you have to just give it a try and just see, don't you? You know, I think if you, it can be easy for us to stay in our comfort zone and stay what we're doing because we know it works, we know it's successful, we know it helps people. But I think there's always, you know, when you said about being a lifelong learner, there's always more for us to learn, isn't there? And I think whatever walk of life we're in, and, you know, again, for everyone listening, doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, every day is a school day. There's always something new to learn or something to rediscover about yourself and your own abilities. And so having that curiosity that you spoke about is a brilliant trait to have, because it just naturally then keeps things fresh and moves with the times, and, you know, trying new things and all the rest of it. I think it can be really healthy. So yeah, I think we're a funny old thing. We're on the same page again, Jenny.
And, you know, talking of that curiosity, it reminds me that that was a reframe I had to do many years ago now, because as a small as a child, I think curiosity is often labelled nosy.
Yeah.
And lots of people I've talked to as clients or connections or through, you know, conversations that we've had, and when I say I'm really curious and I'm really, you know, proud to be curious, and so often people said, oh, is that just not a nice way of, you know, saying nosy? And I said, well, nosy feels a bit negative. So actually curious is around that, and that, again, back to that wonderful curiosity of children. It's like, why does it do that? It's our curiosity is just asking questions, often asking questions when we're tempted to be judgy. Is a phrase I use often, but that curiosity. So I think that reframe from I'm not nosy, I'm curious, and that reframe where you can take what is might be perceived as a negative thing, being nosy, and reframing it as I'm curious, and it's curiosity from a you know, a genuine wish to understand, more, to understand better, to understand more deeply, and I think that the intention behind the curiosity is really important.
Yeah, definitely. Love that. Brilliant. Okay, so it's time for your next question for me.
Well, it's kind of linked in a way. So it's one of those questions. Who inspires you, Rachel?
Oh, goodness me. Where to even start? I think there are a number of people who inspire me in different ways and in different scenarios. My mum has always been a huge inspiration to me. You know, showing the sort of grit and determination to get through things. I think, I mean, people I've got to give a shout out for Taz. Taz, our coach, you know, she's always a source of inspiration, because she's always pushing the envelope and, you know, saying things that others might not. You know, nothing's off limits kind of thing. And I think that's good, because there's so many things about life that we would, you know, benefit from exploring, and not being afraid to go there is a brilliant thing. I have to say as well, I'm quite often inspired by my children, which is obviously a lovely position to be in. You know, both of them, particularly with things like performing. You know, like my eldest, for example, she doesn't always, she's not as inwardly confident as she appears outwardly. Yet she will get up on a stage and sing a solo in a school concert, and I just think that is so inspiring to that. It's an example of feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and like using that fear for good. And I think it would be so easy, to take the easy path and not do those things. So that's definitely a constant source of inspiration. And I think there are probably lots of people in the media can be quite inspiring as well, when you look at some of the things, as an example, some of the Olympians and Paralympians that we all were so privileged to watch over the summer.
Wasn't it fabulous?
Just incredible, absolutely brilliant. And some of their backstories about the things they have coped with, and still carried on. I think that has been a really, really inspiring summer with the Olympics and Paralympics. So yeah, I think that's probably where I'll stop, because I could talk for ages about who inspires me, because it's a long list. But yes, that's a good starter for 10, I think. How about you?
Well, last week, I was only, or the week before last. My days are a bit fuddled at the moment, but I went to a film premiere in Leicester Square.
Ooh.
For a documentary that had been made about Danny Wallace, the Queen Bee.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Danny.
Yes.
So I am a huge fan of Danny and her movement, her community that she's created, and that premiere was just amazing. It was everything a film premiere should be. It was glamorous and it was fabulous, and there was popcorn and there was a yellow carpet and there was sequins and sparkly dresses, and it was just all the things that you would think of, all the things that you would associate with a premiere. But
yeah.
The underlying message was one of inclusion, real heartfelt inclusion, and striving to make a difference, and doing the hard yards, and the struggle and the effort and the consistency and the slog, to work to your values and live your purpose and make a huge difference in the world. And it was awe-inspiring in terms of the people who were there and the people who were part of the film, and Danny's plans for the future, and that whole inclusion. I've never been in an environment where what I would call real inclusion, all the way through, is so part of their way of being. It's amazing. So Danny is a huge inspiration, and her team, and the people who were in her community, each and every one of them are incredibly inspiring. I think, yes, my mum also was an incredible inspiration to me and many other people that she met. And I think there are authors. I've just forgot. There's poets and authors. I love. There's a particular man. Oh gosh, I've just forgotten his name. Harry. He wrote. He's a rapping poet. And he I'll put it in the comments. He'll be mortified that I forgot his Harry Baker. There you go. and his latest book is called Wonderful.
Mm.
And I wanted to go and see him perform in Oxford, and the tickets had all sold out. And one of my friends said, "Why don't you message him and offer to do his merch, be on his merch stand for free?" And I said, "I can't do that. That's outrageous." And they said, "Why not? Give it a try." So I did. I got in touch with him and I said, I can't get a ticket. And he wrote back to me and he said,
Wow.
"Thank you so much. And I'm really sorry you can't get a ticket this time." We've literally just booked a bigger venue for later in early in 2025. So I'll let you know the date to get your ticket, which was great. So actually, he was inspiring because I think when you are either a little bit famous or a lot famous, it can be easy to outsource your fan club or your communication to your team. And actually he didn't. He got in touch with me himself, so that was really inspirational. And I'll stop there. Yeah. So is it your last question, or have we done them? I've lost count now.
I think I've asked all mine, I think. But I think at this point, I would just like to give a really quick shout out to all the guests that we've had on previously, because obviously, as we always say, we want people on the show who are inspiring and brilliant. And, all the people that we've had on as guests so far have been so inspiring to both of us in various different ways, and, depending how we've come across them or dealt with them. But, huge shout out to all those wonderful people that have been on the show, and to those that are still going to be on the show that we think are equally fabulous and inspiring and brilliant.
Yes, so, and those are those who are yet to come. Exactly. Yes. And boy, do we have some fabulously exciting guests to
Keep
come.
your eyes peeled, folks. We have some exciting plans. It's all good. So I guess we should wrap things up there. So to anyone that's been listening, thank you very much. Don't forget, we like to carry on the conversation. So pop us a message, send us an email, put a comment on one of the posts where you see this, or listen back on the podcast, obviously available on all major podcast platforms. And we shall look forward to seeing you all again very soon. So thank you, Jenny. Lovely to see you, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, Rachel. Have the most amazing rest of the week, everybody. And look forward to our next show in 2 weeks' time. And in the meantime, please continue to be inspiring and brilliant. Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.